I'm live. All right. Thank you, YouTube. Am I live? I think I am. All right. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 404. I Hate Fallout New Vegas is the title of the video we're covering. This is by Dashing David, and he's not the only guy who hates Fallout New Vegas. You can actually do a search on YouTube. A whole bunch of guys will pop up, and he actually released a second video still hating New Vegas a few days ago on his second channel. So Dashing David has obviously been around for a while. This video came out in 2017. It's got about 30,000 views. It has a like to dislike ratio of 1K upvotes and 1.6K downvotes.
Not terribly surprising.
Yeah, I mean, people who like him obviously like his rhetoric and his conversational style or whatever he's going to show. And the rest of us who just look at this and go, yeah, you're crazy, downvote. So there are reasons to dislike and criticize Fallout New Vegas. To the point of hatred, I really can't say. I don't know. If something was frustrating, like it was crashing on you, destroying your saved file, or quests never popped up, that would be, yeah, okay. You could hate something for screwing your entire experience. But I've never had that problem, and I've played this game for multiple years, and it's always been a blast. So don't know, man. Mods help a lot, for sure, and Bethesda, or any kind of games from Obsidian and that crew. They make games. They're not foolproof. They're buggy as hell, but they get better. Same with Bethesda games. They're buggy as hell. Even Fallout 76 got better. It just takes time. But that's the era we live in, where you can argue about the problems of a game technically, because that's all very true and honest and easy to see. But everyone knows the storytelling, the voice acting, New Vegas was top-notch. And we love the choices you can make, the way you can play it, the secrets, the exploration, the whole motif of Fallout has always been a favorite of mine. And the Americana elements are always there. That crazy city or state that you've never imagined would be like this if McCarthyism was alive and well, and you just jumped a few hundred years in the future, and what happened to the environment. So it's always cool. I love the Fallout universe. I like the whole genre in video games, not so much in books. There's a few exceptions, but mostly in video games do a pretty decent job. I know Wasteland has been very popular as well. I've not really gotten into that, but you think I would, because I love those styles of games, but I just never got around to it. But Vegas, always, Fallout 2 especially, always enjoyed playing that back when I was younger. So this video is 8 minutes long, and I don't know how long it'll take us to cover, but holy hell, hating New Vegas, what can you say? Let's see what he has to say. All right, you guys all in? We're good to go?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
God damn it, YouTube. I fucking hate Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, we're off to a flying start.
Yeah, swearing is always a good touch. Yeah.
That's like barely a step above. I really didn't want to make this video.
But I was forced to, was compelled to do so.
At least it's not the N-word.
Oh, yeah. All right.
New Vegas?
Yeah. Oh, my God, he has an intro.
You said it. You said it. What the?
Hip-hop new... Look at this guy. Oh,
Your video's
like
8 minutes. You don't need an intro. You don't need a title screen, dude.
What year was this uploaded?
4 years ago.
2017, apparently.
27. Oh, boy. Okay.
All right.
Alright, so obviously I don't hate Fallout New Vegas.
Why'd you title your video like
Oh, we got clickbaited.
Holy shit, I fucking hate this game. 10 seconds later, well, I don't obviously hate the game. What the hell? Wow.
Oh, here we go.
Great start.
Game, but I'm really starting to turn on the community for Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
Wait, so you don't hate
community,
Fallout New
okay.
Vegas, you hate its fans. Then say that.
What it?
No, but you don't. The fans are making me hate the game. Don't you see?
The
This is like
fans,
the Star Wars videos that you guys do where they claim that the community destroyed the Star Wars or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there,
And that ridiculous nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. Like, yeah, people who care about a thing care about the thing.
well, there is an
Why
actual
don't you
video.
think for 2 seconds before you open your mouth, huh?
There's a video by RJ Goombez saying, I really hate, capital really, hate Fallout New Vegas fanboys. So I could see people criticizing the group of people who love a thing, maybe unabashedly, or they just are so biased they can't see past their own noses. That's a common thing to be pissed off about. But he is deliberately clickbaiting us into thinking it's the game, when now it's just the people who play the game, which is weird. But all right, I'll take it. I'll see what he has to say.
Days they're just praising it like it's the ultimate game. You can't even talk about like other Fallouts without people like, you talk about Fallout 3, they're like, well, Fallout New Vegas was better. You talk about Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas was better. Talk about the story of either of those games, Fallout New Vegas' story was better,
That's true.
which is not fucking true.
Well,
To be honest,
Yeah, it is true.
It is
Oh,
true.
shit,
But,
sorry.
but
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with Fallout New Vegas. I'm sorry.
When
You,
you
you know how I say creators are not responsible for the behavior of their audience? Games are not responsible for the behavior of their fan base.
if you can compare things, and we do this because it's the same series, 3, 4, even 76, we can look at all those elements very similarly. They all have the same style. They have a similar method of storytelling. I'm not so sure about 76 and how it does the dialogue. Everything, the world stops. I don't know how that would work in real time. But you can compare all these things pretty much apples to apples. You can pretty much do that. And when you do that, when you have that capability of looking at a series, a franchise of the same stuff and saying, can these characters work differently? If not, is this the only way to do it? And we look at New Vegas. It was very specific what they wanted to do and the freedom of choice of what endings you get and the factions and how they interact. It was very well executed, not in terms of mechanics, in terms of storytelling and choice. Yes, there were lots of moments where just you were walking around because you had to get from A to B and you didn't use fast travel or whatever the case was. So there are some moments where the pacing is different for gameplay reasons. And we call that gameplay and story segregation. This is very common. So this is fine. It's when we measure up the actual plot elements, the characters, their side stories, their side plots, when and if they are connected at all with the main plot, and how the layout of the land works with that, how you explore places. Everything is neatly connected. Boone has a hatred for the Legion. And if you ever try to do anything good with the Legion, he will just open fire. He won't care. It's like, oh shit, I have to know that. I have to keep that in mind. If ever I want to try and like lie my way through something or end up, I don't know, liking the Legion. Who knows? So everything was neatly connected. So your friends are also your foes. And you do this in storytelling a lot as well, where you have a friend-foe idea, where the best kinds of friends or the best kinds of foes are also the opposite in some capacity. And we saw that with almost all the characters. I think maybe even Veronica, provided you get on her good side, she's okay with you blowing up her family. I think I can't remember exactly whether she has to be outside
Can
your
you
party.
actually blow up her family? That's funny.
Oh yeah, it's great. Well, you sort of have to for one of the endings, which is the one I always choose, which is with House. So he wants to get rid of those pesky little brotherhoods. They're pathetic. There's some crazy paladins running around believing in some honor of technology or some bullshit. He's like, yeah, get rid of them. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But you just gotta charm the crap out of give Veronica all the clothing you got. I think that's what she likes. So
You can even sell Veronica to those weirdos that like to eat people, right?
you could do a lot of crazy stuff, yeah.
The White Glove Society, I believe it was called.
Oh boy, yeah. You can do a lot of silly things, but that's the beauty of this game. You could be as retarded as you like. And that's how Fallout has always been. It's always been about the special system, your stats, and how that reflects options for dialogue. And the fact that they spent that time to make a dialogue tree just for being an idiot in some cases. And they did this all within like less than a year or so. I can't remember what the time frame was. It was really fast. So that's why it's buggy. But anyway, storytelling we can definitely compare for sure. Number 3, number 4.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, you look at 3 and 4's like main story. It's all very contrived in some cases.
Yeah. The 3 you're looking for your father, no, your son, no, your father, and in 4 you're looking for your son. And it has its moments, but it's nothing to write home about. Say this is special. I do like the idea of looking for a family member as opposed to trying to save your tribe because they don't have the magical Gek in the water chip from Fallout 2, which is its own expanding plot when you discover what happens as you go along the quest. But something simple and familial is always a nice touch to understand. The problem is there wasn't much personality and connection until you got to I think in Fallout 4. I did actually like the reveal of your son and the Institute.
I feel like it's over way too quickly because doesn't he die in every ending?
I can't remember how many options there are for the ending. You can, yeah. Yeah, he's going to die.
Sick.
Yeah, he's going to die, so he wants to pass the reins over to you, and you have the option of just blowing the crap out of everything. So
yeah, you could.
There were
but it almost
quests.
breaks the game because, like you can't advance any further because you killed everybody or something.
There are quests with each of the factions, which are fine. I just thought we could have done a lot more with the Institute. Since we had that control, you could have made it for a force for good, or shaped it for whatever you wanted. And
I would have liked that to have more creativity over what you can do with that.
Yeah, we're talking about a group of people underground with super technology that can make other people, and you can forge empires like within months. You can do amazing stuff, and never really got to do all the sci-fi stuff like the back of my head. Oh, if only we could do all of these things, which you say about pretty much any video game, whether it's gameplay or story. You're like, oh, if only I could do this. But that was the great potential that was lost in Fallout 4. But storylines as they are, they gotta answer something. They gotta have a conclusion. So I can respect that, but it didn't satisfy me, unfortunately. All right, Strawman, thanks for the 5. We have been bamboozled, tricked, and quite possibly been played like a fiddle. Yeah. Let's hear the arguments he doesn't like from the fanboys.
Okay.
Fallout New Vegas story is really lackluster, especially compared to 3 or 4. They have I think 3's story is pretty good. A lot of people hate on it. Fallout 4's story was obviously good in theory. It just didn't work for a Fallout game. New Vegas' story is...
It didn't work for why not? It was...
Fallout 3's story is go find your dad.
Clean the water, yeah.
And New Vegas and Fallout 4 story is go find your son. And Fallout 3's story is go find your dad so you can turn on a magic water purifier while you fight through the people who want to turn on the magic water purifier. Because you need to be the one to turn on the magic water purifier instead of letting the other guys turn on the magic water purifier.
Yeah, but you also have to turn it on by fighting them off with a giant robot.
I'm just curious, what's the Fallout story?
Well, that's a good question, because once we jump to 3, the idea of Fallout has significantly changed, because the concept becomes the focus, which is exploration. Not to say Fallout 1 and 2 weren't about exploration, but because of the limitations of the medium, it was more focused on, okay, where is this damn chip? This little piece of technology. Because once you find the Gek, you're like, holy crap, that's a big part of the puzzle. But it's useless without the chip. And you go scouring around the whole wasteland, at least in that world, I think it was California, though, the style of California, to find the solution. And
when you're on a time limit too, right?
Half through the game, I'd say more than halfway through the game, you're on a time. Well, no, I'd say a quarter. If you don't find it, your tribe fails and the game is over. So yeah, there is that time limit, and you get those visions from your chief or whatever her name was to find the Gek. But once you find the Gek, it's like, oh, I still need the water chip. And then you try to find the water chip, and there's like a whole vault with water chips. Like, what the hell? And then you discover the secret of what Vault Tech was doing, what happened to the Enclave, and what happened to America.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of things, and they're neatly connected. And the way you solve them is simple enough. With 3 and 4, the medium becomes the message, as I like to say, and you get lost a bit in just exploring and crafting and doing all kinds of silly stuff. And then the mods come in, and it's like this whole other experience outside of the story, which is great. Nothing's wrong with mods. It just it's like trying to do a patchwork for a thing that has a giant hole in it. So it's its own beast once you have mods. Same with 4. 4 is way more mods now than Vegas than I recall. So newer is always where people drive their creativity toward, which is fine. But storytelling 4 could have been a lot better. Anyway.
Just, I got shot in the head, let me find out why, platinum chip, big fight at the end of the game. That's the story for Fallout New Vegas. Of course, there's choices. You get to choose who, like, in what direction you want to take the story. It can be, independent New Vegas. You can join Mr. House, NCR Legion. In that regard,
also, there's
of course,
more
New Vegas
to
has
it
a good
than
story,
your
but the actual,
incredibly reductive
the core story of New
portrayal.
Vegas is not really that interesting. Whereas with Fallout 3, you're kind of chasing down your dad across the wasteland, trying to pick up his trail. Where is he at?
How is that any different than chasing down?
He is now literally describing. He's trying to make "Go Find Your Dad" sound a lot more elaborate than it actually is.
Yeah, it's
like he just reduced the story of Fallout New Vegas to find the guy who shot you.
Yeah.
And
so
platinum chip and big battle at the end, and now he's trying to doll up "Go Find Your Dad," big battle at the end.
Yeah, apparently finding your
stop
dad,
the bad people from turning on the magic water purifier so that you can turn on the magic water purifier and die.
So finding your dad is apparently a better story than finding Benny, the guy who killed you. I guess. I don't know. Why is that, sir? What's the difference? Why is one worse?
Because he's played by Liam Neeson, all right?
Well,
that's why it's a better story.
His voice, but yeah.
Benny is played by Matthew Perry from the hit TV show Friends.
I will say I did like Liam Neeson better.
Yes, I mean that's true. Matthew Perry was not good in that role.
I don't know. He seemed to be so enthusiastic off camera.
It was really weird because, he seemed like he was excited for the role, and he's not a bad actor. If you've ever watched Friends, he's not bad. And then he just was terrible.
He could have hammed it up. He could have been somewhat emotional, enthusiastic at least. And it was just the flattest phone called in response I've ever heard. I'm like, are you supposed to be, is he supposed to be like cool and hip and just so chilled out?
Like, did the voice director seize up when trying to talk to him or something?
It was, I'm like,
was
okay.
The voice director afraid to criticize Matthew Perry?
Maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted Benny to be this minor dude to showcase how big and interesting the rest of the world is. But why would you do that?
He's like, oh my goodness, it's Matthew Perry from the hit TV show Friends. I'm such a huge fan. Please act however you want, Mr. Perry.
Maybe he's not a good actor.
Well, okay, at the time.
But he is.
At the time, he was making what, $1 million a show? So obviously he doesn't need money. So why would he take a role in New Vegas? What would cause him to do that? And it has to be for professional reasons. He likes it. It's a skill he wants to exercise. He's never done it before, maybe. I don't know. And he's like, okay, I like this style of game. I like the story. I like the character. And it's so bad. It's just like, he just rambles. It's just like, dude, the NPCs had better character than he did, which was really weird because the not the kings, the tops, the chairman, right? The chairman. They had swagger. They got this whole attitude about them. It was like, okay, I want to see that. And he had a little bit. He had oh, you have to be suave and cool. And he had some of the lingo down, but there was no attitude. There was no...
What the line of ring a ding baby?
Yeah, it didn't...
That was it.
That's as close as it got, I think, yeah.
He delivered like one line well in his entire performance.
And you could do some really messed up shit. You could sleep with him. You could kill him at the last second. Like, it's all kinds of weird shit you could do.
Yeah, you could even put him on a cross, which was funny.
Yeah,
and he sounded really bored.
He sounded bored. It was like, oh, now you're going to turn on me. It's like, do you care?
It's like, well, darn, I'm getting crucified. This is kind of a letdown.
You're in Caesar's tent. You're on the verge of death in many ways, and now I'm going to crucify. And you're like, oh, that sucks.
Get me down from here.
You could be eaten by dogs. You could be hoisted up on rope for all your life until you drain of life. It's like, no.
He's like, oh man, this is like that time I got a flat on the long 15.
That and his weird ambition with Yes Man is a little contrived, a little not horrible, but a little. It's like, okay, that's weird. Not sure where he got that, but they explain some of how he got it. But it's still like, could Benny really pull that off? I don't know. He could steal his stuff. I think he could set that up.
He did it off screen. You didn't see it.
There's a few holes in that setup. I'm like, well, really, this is the guy. This is the mastermind who figured this all out. Like,
How did he do that again? He reprogrammed one of the, what was it, the Securitrons, or?
It was one of the same people from the Followers of the Abyss. Or was that the name? No, Followers of the Apocalypse?
Followers of the Apocalypse.
Yeah. And he hired one of those guys to help him out, to reprogram a Securitron.
Okay, I see.
So they had technical knowledge. And I think he killed them? I can't remember. Something like that.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah. Anyway, let's see how following your daddy is better than following Benny.
He eventually sacrificed himself to save you and everybody else, and then you were trying to purify the water for the wasteland, which I think is a good story. That's the short version. Obviously, there's more to the story than that, but I think it's an actual decent
not
story.
really.
Water purifier that makes no sense.
I think it's a good story.
It can magically get rid of all of the radiation in the water, and it's all already built somehow.
Well, this is the problem, because in Fallout 2, we have the technology to clean water. We just have to use it. We have lots of GECs. We have lots of water chips. They're there. And we've seen it work. We've seen the settlement of, was it New California? Or whatever that city is? Tandy City? So
Shady Sands becomes the new California Republic.
Yeah, so we have the tech already. So to have that as a plot point or a focus of the ending is like, okay, fine. But then you compare that to Hoover Dam, and it's using for energy, and you could use a lot with energy nowadays since, I don't know, we've got an entire strip of livelihood and gambling and technology. We have all that power. We can divert into a death ray that some kid is playing with on the toy. There's all kinds of great things you could do and transfer it over to the Legion, and they can figure stuff out. So there's all these options of this thing that everyone wants. So instead of making it this goal in Fallout 3, in New Vegas, it's this gambling chip. It's like, what do I do with this thing? Who do I give it to and why? And that's where it gets very interesting, because you know how these characters are when you get to that point, what these factions are going to do and what they want. Maybe not entirely, but you're given already a very good understanding of what House is going to do.
And it all depends on how you want to play it.
Yeah, and it makes sense that you would use a hydroelectric dam as the focal point, because people are fighting over it to get power for the region or stop there from being power to the region versus a magical water purifier that makes no sense. Like, this is the whole issue is that the water purifier doesn't make any sense, and the reason you're fighting over it doesn't make any sense.
I think the argument was, we got to get to it first because then we can control it once we turn it on, or something like that.
Yeah, but why? Why do you need to stop them from turning it on? Why can't Colonel Autumn turn it on and then you kill him and it's already on and now it's yours?
Compared to the Hoover Dam, which was a military struggle to dominate the area, and then you're in control of it like you would any area of land. So, yeah, it's a bit odd because everyone wants clean water, obviously. So it's like, yeah, turn it on. Great, cool. Technology, good. And then take it over.
It is kind of weird because in Fallout 4, when you build settlements, it's you can even purify water yourself. Like, you can actually build a water purifier. You just need all the material to build it right?
You dig a hole in the ground and put a pipe in it, and you gotta
plain water. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, water, no problem. Huh?
No radiation. Okay, sweet.
I think there was. I don't remember. I think there was if you make a water a faucet or whatever it's called. It was basic well, I think.
Yeah.
Which is another problem I have with 4. Or just in general, it's like, we need to make a settlement. It's like, great. Do these farmers not know how to do that? They're farmers. They should have every knowledge of how to grow crops in the wasteland. But
and I like that you can pump groundwater, and that groundwater is not irradiated somehow.
Well, you see the top of the ground is radiated, right?
Yeah. After
you start going below,
after hundreds of years, all that radiation just disappeared. Didn't fall into the soil at all. Just the winds just brushed it away. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah, those radiation storms are nothing.
Yeah. Rainstorms, radiation storms, all kinds of irradiated animals. Yeah, well.
It's kind of like, who shot me? I'm with the majority of the community about Fallout New Vegas being the better of the 3 like open world 3D games, but it's starting to get to the point where people are really, starting to talk shit a lot about Fallout 3. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter and shit like that hating on Fallout 3 without realizing the game's. You got to remember, the game's almost 10 years old at this point. Not to the date, obviously. It'd be like October 23rd or something like that. 2018 would be 10 years, but it's almost a decade old. You got to remember that it's Bethesda's first time with the game. They transitioned it from a top-down isolation. Obviously, I don't hate Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, my bad.
Whoa,
I skipped backwards. I meant to pause, and I skipped backwards a bunch.
Gotcha.
Okay, yes, it was 10 years old at the time. Okay, that's nice. New Vegas wasn't a whole lot newer. It was Bethesda's first time with the game. Yeah, it was not Bethesda's first time with the engine. And it was not Bethesda's first time making a game. And it's like and honestly, it wasn't even that terrific on launch.
No.
The map is incredibly samey. Like, the bottom right corner of the map is basically a copy-paste environment. And the story makes no sense. You don't need to have extensive experience with Fallout to write a coherent narrative, and they didn't.
All right.
So, like, this is not a defense. Like, oh, they were trying. I don't care. They're a multi-billion-dollar media company. They can do better than that. Only they can't because the lead writer at that company is terrible at his job.
Who was the lead writer?
I could vomit onto a page and it would be better than what Emil Pagliarulo? Is that his name?
Yeah. Well,
even if you could give it that excuse, it's like, what's the excuse for 4 then?
Well, 4 had some interesting level design. It had some paths to follow, like story-wise. So I think combined with the aesthetic and the new color palette, it was something a little different. It was like, okay, this is a nice twist. Not a big twist, just still a twist on to focus the narrative down this certain way. The same way they focused the combat a certain way. They had that same level design concept. So, elevators and platforms and trying to find all these factions.
Yeah, I mean, they made the shooter element pretty refined, but then it's like, why is the dialogue tree all messed up? Like, why do we have to have our characters suddenly have a voice?
Why is it?
Because they wanted a voiced protagonist.
Yeah, why did they have to?
That's really the beginning and end of it.
Why did they have to do? Well, not to say it was bad. It was just not as good as it could have been. If the focus is storytelling, then adding voiced acting is great. I think that's a good idea, but it's how you do it. And it's still the options, the lack of options, the lack of choice. The choices don't.
Half the time, the options don't even make any sense. It's like yes, no, no, yes, no. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
sarcasm.
get
I
to
make a
say
joke.
yes, yes sarcastically, or no, which means I'll come back later and say yes. That's the issue, is you inherently limit yourself when you add a voice-acted protagonist, because now you can only put in so many lines, because it adds a lot of money to your budget, because you have to pay 2 different actors because you have a male and a female lead potential. So now you have to pay 2 different actors to read all the lines that you're giving to your voiced protagonist, which now suddenly your budget explodes because you have to add an extra 2 extra voice actors reading all of these possible dialogue choices.
Yeah,
and you end up with next to nothing.
And one of them is Jack from Mass Effect 2. It's always felt a little off that we have this crazy psychotic chilled out and worrying about her son. So
what threw me off is that Jack from Mass Effect 2 was Juhani in Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, she had an accent in Knights of the Old Republic, so I was like, all right, that's different.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't her normal American speaking
yeah,
voice.
just act, just say your lines, Courtney. Just go ahead. It's like, okay. Here's Great Scott. Thanks for the $1. Autumn didn't have the codes. All right. Controlling mass distribution of resources nets power, which makes sense, but the problem is, how can places like Megaton and Rivet City exist with small-scale broken-down water pumps in Fallout 3 and barely any food?
They also make no sense as cities. Like, if you look at any city in New Vegas, let's take New Vegas. Right outside New Vegas is the NCR sharecroppers. Okay? In Good Springs, there's farms. In Nipton, there's farms. Everyone's dead, but there's farms in Nipton. Right? Where are the farms that people get food from in Rivet City? In a broken down old what is it, even an oil tanker?
I think it was a battleship.
Where are they getting their food from? Yeah, and the idea of having a town surrounding a nuclear bomb is a little well, it's not the wisest choice.
Stupid.
Yeah, insane would be more like it.
Look, the bomb was deactivated, okay?
Stupid on a conceptual level. So you get the most ridiculous moral, the most, like, ridiculously ham-handed moral choice ever.
Yeah.
Turn it on or turn it off.
Do I want to deactivate the bomb or nuke a city for no reason?
Well, let's
nuke a city.
That's the 10 penny tower bullshit, where it's like, hey, let's blow it up. It's like, why?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the most stupidly contrived. Like, there is no logic to the nuke the city portion.
Good thing Morrow survived, so you could still do those wasteland survival quests.
You would think there'd be some story related, like, oh, this is going to change how the ending comes about, or who likes who, but it's really just, no, you blew up a city and they're all dead, and that's that.
Son, you blew up a city. I'm very disappointed in you. Okay, let's go.
I remember seeing that. I don't know if it was a trailer or if it was some sort of promotional material, like video. I was like, holy crap, you could nuke something, but like there's got to be something behind that. And all it is one quest for some rich people on a tower. You know, like that's really.
And there's no okay, I guess the rough equivalent of nuking Megaton in New Vegas would be like turning on the Archimedes 2 and killing all the NCR troopers in the yard, right? But there's an in-universe justification for why you, the player, would be convinced to do that.
Yes.
It's because you get a big, powerful gun.
Well, that and a lot of people, even myself included, did not like the NCR in New Vegas.
Well, yeah, that too, but like that would be your motivation. You can not like the NCR and not blow up the NCR at Archimedes 2. That's not the name of the power station. You know what I mean, though.
Right.
You can direct the power away from the NCR farms. You can direct it to where the follower of the apocalypse tells you to. You don't need to blow up the NCR troopers, but there is a reason in universe why you would be motivated to do that. What motivation do you have in universe to blow up Megaton? You get some money and a room.
Because you're a bad guy. That's
you get money and a room in exchange for blowing up a town full of people. You don't get a gun. You don't get an extremely powerful weapon. You don't get to strike a blow against a faction you might not want in New Vegas. You get a room and some money, and you blow up a town full of people. You can't even go in there and get, like, there aren't even, like, resources under the town or anything.
Right. Like, if this was tied into, let's say, the water, because, again, we're talking about the ending of Fallout 3. If it was like, okay, even if we do turn on the water, it won't be enough. Or these people will start attacking us because they're going to want to dominate or take over that area so they can keep the water. Like, there's nothing inherently special or politically relevant about Megaton City. And
right.
If it were, like, this is the problem with Fallout 3. You could do cool shit, but there's no reason to. And
yeah. And like... let's go back to the Archimedes 2, the power station. The follower of the apocalypse has a sensible in-universe reason to want you to screw over the NCR in that scenario, right? He wants you to do it because then you power Freeside and the Strip. Or not the Strip, you power Freeside and wherever it is he asks you to power. You help people out.
Right.
What is Alistair Tenpenny's motivation for wanting Megaton out of the way?
He's a bad guy.
Because he thinks it's ugly. That's his motivation in universe. He thinks Megaton is an eyesore.
Well, that's why he also wants you to kill the ghouls. Remember that mission?
Yeah, the ghouls, as well, yeah.
I just even remembered, too, like, even in Fallout 3, regarding with the water purifier, you can even poison it with the FEV that's given to you by, was it the president? Was it a computer?
And what on earth is your reasoning for doing that? Because the president doesn't like, the president thinks that mutated people are not worthy of being alive or something. I don't even remember. His reasoning is so stupid and pointless. His reasoning is that Emil Pagliarulo thinks Nazis are really bad, and so all the bad guys have to be Nazis.
Yeah, so these issues usually have to do with resources when we're talking about post-apocalyptic scenarios, whether it's electricity or water. So it is relevant. It just has to be made relevant in the story in a video game, because if you have no choice in the matter, like in Fallout 3, you always go to the ending. That's about it. That's all there is to it. Whereas with New Vegas, the ending plays out a series of very serious ways, of different ways, that even nuances within those series which are there. And it doesn't really matter whether it was taking over a dam or taking over a corner store. It's the details involved, the variations, and how you get there, which is interesting. So they made it interesting about a guy in a coffin telling you what to do, a robot telling you what to do in your own little way, I guess, a guy playing king, and what was the other one? The NCR telling you what to do. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can approach the final battle of New Vegas from either side. You cannot approach the final battle of Fallout 3 from either side. You cannot decide, oh, well, the Enclave has the right of it because they're they are the greatest chance for stability in the wasteland, so I'm going to side with them and defend the water purifier against the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah.
No, even if you decide the president is correct, you still have to attack the Enclave because Colonel Autumn wants to turn on the magic water purifier.
That's interesting because the arguments...
And you want to turn on the magic water purifier and also decide you want to kill like 80% of the people in the wasteland.
Well, this is the fun thing about Vegas is that we argue about the bad things in Vegas, like the Enclave. It was just sort of at the ending within a certain side character quest. And the same with the Boomers, the same with the Brotherhood. Well, Brotherhood is more involved. That why couldn't you side with the Enclave and get them to to take over the dam? And it's like, yeah, why couldn't we have these other factions take over? It's like, well, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to have political control over that area. They're all old, bunch of old wetwork people.
I think the real answer is because why would you want to join a racist, fascist paramilitary organization that's objectively evil?
Well, yes, but you still could have had the option. This is the thing with Vegas.
It was a joke.
I know.
So what if I want to be racist?
Yeah, but
remember, I mean, I don't know if you paid attention to the entire Fallout, the Frontier debacle, but
oh boy, no.
That comes from there.
Yeah, that was a letdown.
I'm going to look into that now.
No,
when somebody tries to recruit you into the Enclave, that's one of your options.
Yeah, so
the
problem we have with Vegas is not that there wasn't choice; there wasn't enough choice. Like you couldn't side completely with the Boomers, or completely with the Brotherhood, or completely with the Enclave. That would have been cool, but that's much more. That
like we got a comment in chat saying player agency. What's that? Which that's what it is. That's the whole point. New Vegas gives you agency. Fallout 3 does not. And that's why people look more fondly at New Vegas' story, because it has it. In New Vegas, you, the player, are the protagonist of the story. In Fallout 3, your dad is the protagonist of the story. You're just going along with what your dad wants. In Fallout New Vegas, yes, you decide what faction you want to join, or you decide you want to take over for yourself and kick everybody else out. Ultimately, it is up to you, the player, what happens in that story. It is a player-driven story. It is not an outside character-driven story where the player is railroaded along.
Anyway. Let's get back to... I don't even know if we're in the right spot.
We may have to find our place because I accidentally skipped backwards.
All right.
Your game to a full 3D open world game. Like, you got to remember all these factors. It's not going to be a perfect game.
Oh, I was pretty
And people
close.
make the argument about Obsidian having the short time to make New Vegas versus how long they had to make Fallout 3. And you're right. I've said that before on my channel as well. But you also got to remember that they went into Fallout New Vegas with, the everything that's been created for Fallout 3. Because if you look at, like, the character models, they're very similar. They even have some of the same voice actors, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really they took things from Fallout 3 and just added new stuff to it. What I mean by that exactly is like they didn't necessarily build it from the ground up. Obviously, the world is probably new. It's nothing like Fallout 3's world, but like they have similar character models, buildings, weapons, things like that were in Fallout 3, and they just added more variants to guns, more variants to enemies, shit like that.
Yeah, okay,
and I'm not even looking at this through like nostalgia goggles.
So it's better, you're saying? There's more to it. It's an upgrade, as they say. The sequel is usually a bit more of the same with a little bit extra added. They did take away crafting, though, which I sort of missed.
I'm okay with that. I don't like crafting.
Well,
crafting
I like the idea of being in a wasteland that you could MacGyver crap together for whatever purpose, but it got a little silly when you could make what was that crazy railroad gun?
The railway rifle that crashed the game.
You put spikes in walls and the game couldn't handle it.
And what's funny is I sound like I'm dumping on it. I honestly enjoy Fallout 3 quite a bit. Like, don't get me wrong here. It's Obsidian took Fallout 3 and they made it better in almost every way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's because it wasn't written by Emil Pagliarulo.
All right, here's Great Scott one more time. Thanks for the one. Speaking of Eden, even though this is non-canon, one mod actually wrote a pretty interesting angle to the Enclave's motivations. Basically, the Enclave made gene projections, predicting that in the next few generations, even the smallest of mutations. I think I remember reading about that, but I'm trying to recall when and where. There's lots of lore to the Enclave. I know that in Fallout 2. All right. Anyway.
Or nothing like. Of course, there's some nostalgia for Fallout 3. It was the first one for a lot of us. It's what got me into the series and everything. But I'm not even looking at it like that. It's not even a biased thing. It's just like if Fallout 3 didn't exist at all, we wouldn't even have New Vegas, and we would have Fallout 4.
And so, if we didn't have Fallout 1 or 2, Fallout 3 wouldn't exist. I don't get the argument.
I think eventually they would have gone to 3D regardless of timing.
If we didn't have Fallout 3, Skyrim wouldn't exist.
Oh yeah.
I can say irrelevant things too.
Here's more from Great Scott.
If video games weren't a thing, we would never have Fallout 3.
If we didn't have the Home Alone video game tie-ins from the early 90s, Morrowind wouldn't exist.
All right, here's a continuation from Great Scott's point. The smallest of mutations would basically scramble the mainland population to the point where they became infertile. Thus, why the Enclave in both 2 and 3 try to genocide everyone else. They see the population as a truly lost cause.
So the population would die out later, and they decided that means let's kill them all deliberately right now.
That's, I guess they're being efficient? I have no idea.
I know you don't have a lot to work with when you're trying to write a mod like that, but I feel like you could do better than that.
Yeah, they're going to die off eventually. Maybe their resources are going to be a big suck. It's like, they're drinking all the water for all us future humans.
Let's all poison the water. Yeah.
Let's kill them.
Sir, wouldn't we get sick too?
Wonderful evil henchman plots. They're not thinking things through like a evil genius would. Yeah. Anyway, that's a plot in James Bond movie. I'm quite sure. Anyway.
But some people might be happy if we didn't have Fallout 4. But New Vegas would not exist if not for Bethesda's Fallout 3. It's just a simple fact. So for that alone, you should respect at least what Fallout 3 is. The New Vegas community is getting so toxic to the point that on my personal Facebook, I've seen somebody, there's this person on there that talks a lot about just Fallout New Vegas all the time. And they just constantly talk shit on Bethesda and Todd Howard and Fallout 3. And I can't remember what the post was exactly, and I'm just kind of, this isn't verbatim, but this along the lines of them saying they did not like Fallout 3, they played it for about 30 minutes and could not stand it and quit playing it. And all I can think of is like, you're talking about a Fallout game, and all you could put into it was 30 minutes, and you basing your entire judgment of the game off of 30 minutes. 30 minutes doesn't even get you out of fucking Vault 101. You don't even leave the beginning of the game in 30 minutes. So how the fuck can you tell me that you have an actual opinion on the game?
You can't get out of the tutorial in 30 minutes.
It's
you get
probably
out of the
slowest
tutorial. You get out of the
ever.
New Vegas tutorial in like 5 minutes. And okay, so can we just take a minute to recognize the fact that he just said the Fallout New Vegas community is getting so toxic, which is a meaningless word, by the way, because there's one guy on my Facebook who doesn't like Fallout 3.
Well, who cares? Like, why would you even be part of a Facebook group that's boring and annoying? Like, why go there?
Why don't you just play the damn game?
Well, I get people want to hang out with fans of something because you could all have a good time. But if
Why
you're
would
not
you
having,
want to do that?
well, if you're not having a good time, don't go there. It's like, here's a bar I really like. There's great taps.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, there's people that are always going to have difference of opinion, and that happens with almost every community. You know, at some point you just either be part of it or don't. I don't know what else to tell you.
This happened with BioWare's forums. Like, I couldn't stand it there after a certain point in time. It was just so stupid. Like, everyone there was a crazy fanboy who just kept going, oh wow, they're doing this now. It's like, oh God. Why
aren't you happy about more Dragon Age? It's more Dragon Age.
Yeah.
So what if it's horrendous and pisses on the old game? Yeah, it's more Dragon Age.
The game that has 2 dragons in it. Like, oh.
Why aren't you happy about more Star Wars?
Why aren't you happy about more Fallout?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's like, it's a Fallout game, and you didn't give it more than 30 minutes, and you call yourself a Fallout fan. It's like, yeah, maybe because it wasn't good.
Well,
I mean, I thought I enjoy it, but
look at.
I'm sorry, I had more fun with the side quest rather than the main quest.
Look at the classic games that everyone keeps reinstalling. I wouldn't say Dragon Age originally, but some people do, and it's a slow game. People still pick it up. Bloodlines is one of those games that people keep installing. It's why. Yeah, it's clunky. It crashes here and there. There's still bugs in it. You have to download a mod. But story's there.
But it's
dialogue's
has a compelling story, yeah. And it's well acted.
Exactly. The acting sells you. It's more than just words on the screen. You get, especially when they released that engine. Wasn't a finished engine yet from Valve, but the eyes, like once you saw those characters, doesn't matter how ugly they were, once you saw those characters looking at you, like, whoa, this is cool. And you see the glare in the eyeballs, and they're posing, and they're talking to you, they're moving their heads, like, wow, this is they put the effort to actually have a character model pose and talk and have lip sync, and that means so much at the time, especially. So that drew you in. It doesn't matter whether the story was about vampires or not, but just that technology was there.
Yeah, and a really well compelling story can paper over some weird gameplay issues.
Exactly. You will go through shit just to get to the next plot point, because
the problem is that Fallout 3 does not have a compelling enough story to paper over those gameplay issues.
Yeah.
So it's fun enough if you mod it so that it's like fixed and works and doesn't crash when you fire one of the guns. But on its own, I can totally understand why people wouldn't forgive it for its janky gameplay on its old, not especially good engine.
Well, even that beginning, you know, like, you start off as a baby, you can't really do anything. And then you start off as a kid that goes to a birthday party.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you start off as a teenager, you got to take some stupid test.
And it takes like an hour.
I know. And then finally you get to the real meat where you can actually do something. It's like, Jesus, why did it take so long to get there?
I remember people bitching about, even in New Vegas, the intro, going through the tests with Doc Mitchell. It's like, this is going to take 5-10 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's true. You could skip some of it, but it's kind of cool. I like the machine. I like some of those weird Rorschach tests. Like, all those are like, okay, I can see where they're going with this. Whereas the other one was like, okay, you're being born. Are you male or female? Okay. So, weird way of doing character creation. Very slow process. Stop.
Oh, that's right. You have to witness the birth of your character. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of boring. So, yeah, there's better ways to do that, as we've seen over the years. Anyway, here's Vladimir Dragunov. Thanks for the 5. What's the difference between cancer and my dad? The cancer came back. Oh. Ha ha, I think.
Well, that's good, Can't be lonely.
Lonely with mutated cells. Yeah, sure. Great Scott. Thanks for the 1 again. The point is that the Enclave are also extremely xenophobic and brainwashed. Even the computer they used to make the prediction is faulty. I just found it better than leaving it completely unexplained when 3 was the perfect opportunity for depth. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a lack of choice. There was a lack of freedom.
Yeah. The problem is you're expecting way too much out of Emil Pagliarulo. Like, I cannot overemphasize how bad a writer Emil Pagliarulo is.
I want you to do it more, actually.
All right. We're almost halfway done. This is taking too long. Not bad.
You have not even given a goddamn chance. You haven't even been out of the fucking vault to explore the wasteland and even know what the fucking story is and play it yourself. Like, it's the dumbest fucking concept, but that's kind of how toxic the Fallout New Vegas community is getting.
Because
people don't even
one
fucking
guy
play the other
doesn't
Fallout
want to
games.
play
They just say that
through
New
the
Vegas
intro
is the best.
sequence.
And I'm not just making this video based off this one person or because of this one person. As with most of my rants on the channel, it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for kind of a while, and then there's that one like person or thing that just kind of just pushes me over the edge and pisses me off, and I got to fucking rant about it. And this person was...
So I didn't make this video because of one guy, but here's the reason I made this video, because of one guy.
Well, I can.
It's even worse than the 2 Twitter screenshots that we usually get.
I can appreciate
it's one
that.
guy on his Facebook who definitely exists.
I can appreciate that just because I've had my share of arguments on the BioWare social forums before I just got frustrated and started making my own YouTube channel. So it doesn't take much to get you motivated when you're surrounded by idiots. So
sure, but don't try to pretend it's not that. You know what I mean? Like, I just basically said, "Oh, I'm not doing it because of this guy, but this is why I did it." Like, I don't know. That just sounds weird.
My motivation is I don't like Facebook. It's like, thanks.
The community is so toxic, and you can tell because of this guy on my Facebook who didn't want to play Fallout 3 past the vault sequence because it's boring.
Because it keeps saying Fallout New Vegas is so great, and I can't deal with that anymore.
Well, let's just say
because Fallout New Vegas doesn't take you an hour to get into the action.
And not only that, exploring his house and finding stuff and guns and ammo and stuff is kind of like, hey, cool, I need this. This is kind of useful. I know what this is. And once you get out of the house, you get that big flash of sunlight. You're like, all right, where the hell am I? And that's kind of interesting to me. You're in this middle of nowhere. Like, what is this town? Where am I?
And the extended tutorial where you learn how to shoot and how to craft.
Optional.
And all of that stuff is optional, and it rewards you if you take it.
Yeah, it's great. And a lot of the, I don't know if it's DLC, but you get these Wasteland Survivor perk. I don't know what the hell it is. Basically a kit of gear.
Yeah, that's DLC.
Yeah, so that was like, oh, cool. I got a pipe grenade launcher or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, great stuff. Nice. Yeah, no, this is like, here's some extra gear to have more fun. And then those power gangers come after you, just like launch grenades. I was like, this is great. So, but there's so many ways to solve that problem as well. Like there's every way you solve a problem has another solution. It's great. I love it. That's called playing an RPG. Anyway.
I imagine the DLC was more extensive versus like Fallout 3's DLC.
Oh, the DLC was, I mean, I've talked about it in length, how much I love Old World Blues and all the various good DLC for New Vegas. It's even the ones I dislike has something redeemable. I think that the least one was Dead Money?
Dead Money,
yeah. That's the least.
Oh, that one, yeah.
It's interesting.
What was the DLC for Fallout 3? You had the pit, which was the closest thing that game had to an actual moral decision. You had Operation
Mothership
Anchorage,
Zeta.
which is a whole thing that never actually happened.
Simulation, yep.
You had Broken Steel, which was okay and fixed
Continued
problems
after
that shouldn't have
the
been in the
main
game
story.
in the first place. And you had Mothership Zeta, which, yeah.
You can blow up Earth, like, I remember
You
if
can
you got
fire
to
a
a specific...
laser at the planet for no reason.
Yeah, you got to a specific point in the ship and you could fire a laser for some reason. And you don't lose karma or anything. It's just...
Well, the stories in... There's only a few DLCs in New Vegas. I don't remember them all, but Old World Blues, Dead Money,
Honest Hearts, Old World Blues, and Lonesome Road.
Lonesome Road is the one that sort of irked me because it just kept droning on and on. This poetic voice.
Because Ulysses is
crazy.
Ulysses.
Yeah, but once you get to Honest Hearts, it's like, okay, yeah, this is where I belong.
You see Joshua Graham just cleaning those guns, and you're like, yeah.
Hey, sir, how do
I
you
made
do?
it.
I am very happy in your presence. Please don't shoot me. He's talking to you like a normal conversation while he's manipulating that gun, those stack of guns. Like, I don't know how he does it. He's amazing. He's a machine of a man. Just well-equipped savages. Oh, get out of that man's way. Anyway.
Person was it. And something else I didn't really like about New Vegas, and this isn't even nostalgia or bias or anything like that, I'm not a big fan of the DLCs in all honesty. I love Big Mountain and I love Lonesome Road. But I wasn't a big fan of the Honest Hearts DLC. It wasn't necessarily bad. I love the environment of it. And I love that the map had rain on it. It was kind of nice to see weather in Fallout for the first time. But I absolutely fucking despise the Dead Money Sierra Madre DLC. That is my least favorite.
You.
Okay, yeah, that's my least favorite, but it wasn't bad. It was difficult and it was challenging because there's poison gas and you had to swap party members and they had to use them in certain areas. Like that was kind of like, oh, where do I go? And those guys kept coming back from the dead. So it was a bit annoying as well, but it wasn't bad.
I'm sorry, this is not a fight that Fallout 3 is going to win.
Yeah. It was memorable.
But I'm trying to understand, how do you hate the main game because of DLC?
Well, he doesn't hate the main game. He doesn't like the community because of one guy on his Facebook.
But that translates to him hating the game, apparently.
Yeah.
This
This is the problem with these, like there's nothing to this. There's really nothing to this video. It's just clear. It's like unfocused rambling about how he doesn't like this because the fans are annoying. And honestly, I kind of agree. New Vegas's fans can be kind of annoying, but that doesn't affect the game. Like
just close your laptop.
To use a similar example from my perspective, I think Steven Universe's fans are annoying, but that's not why I don't like Steven Universe. I don't like Steven Universe because it's not a well put together show, and also it has really obnoxious fans. I can separate these two things. And apparently this guy can't. And so we get this video where he clickbaits you with this title, and then the first thing he says is, I hate this game. And then he immediately says, well, no, I don't hate the game.
No, he didn't say that. He said, I fucking hate this game. Oh boy, this guy.
And apparently he still hates it 4 years later.
It's true. Yeah, I haven't seen that other video, but yeah, I gotta watch that next.
Fallout 3 is just more interesting.
I don't know. It's just it's 3D. It's the first one. You're like, okay, yeah.
Fallout DC DLC of all time, dude. And whereas with Fallout 3, I like them all. I like Operation Anchorage. I like the Pit. I like.
Okay, but I don't care if you like them or not.
So I just wasn't really a big fan of all the DLC for Fallout New Vegas. Like Sierra Madre, to be honest, dude, I don't know what it is about it. And I know a lot of other people hate it too. I know a few people that kind of liked it or didn't hate it at all. But I got into it about a quarter of the way or half of the way through the DLC, and I was just like, God damn, I just want this.
Yeah, but that's the gimmick to keep you there. It's not. It's not like
but that's why people don't like it, because I get it. It's annoying. The beep 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 boom is annoying.
That's good. That's the one thing I liked about it a lot, because it's like it plays this guessing game of where do I have to go to find the radio to turn it off so it don't explode. So that was one of the puzzles I liked. The other stuff is like, where is the enemy? Why aren't they dying? Who do I bring with me? How do I get out of the poison mist? How do I get around it? Where's my how do I get enough cigarettes to cash in? There's all these problems.
How do I not piss off Dean Domino?
Oh yeah, the hollow gun has like a few shots and is wasted and you're useless. Like, oh crap, where did I get ammo for this thing? So yeah, it's a difficult game part, because you're very limited resources. You can't use all your stuff.
Can it end early? Like, you can actually get a game over in that DLC, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, you have to pass it. Once you're in, you have to pass it. Well, actually, all the DLCs like that. You have to pass them. So that's the gimmick.
Except Lonesome Road. Lonesome Road, you can just turn around and leave anytime you want.
That would take a while to walk back.
Yeah, but you can do it. It's kind of part of the point of Lonesome Road, is that the only thing keeping you there is you and your desire to move forward.
And in Lonesome Road, you have multiple ways of solving that ending. Again, very unique to New Vegas. You have multiple options of defeating Ulysses, or
you have player agency.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not being railroaded through a boring simulator sequence.
Oh no, oh geez, I remember that. Oh. That was kind of annoying. I like the idea,
Wait, which idea?
The basically the Matrix. You have to go inside the collective consciousness in those crazy pods.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyway, 5 minutes in, we're doing all right.
So I can play Lonesome Road, because I think I played them in order, if I'm not mistaken. All I know is I saved Lonesome Road for the last. That's what I know, and I just wanted this fucking DLC to end, and I legitimately did not enjoy playing it.
Okay, good for you.
Lonesome Road was challenging. It was interesting. It was.
Well, he's talking about Dead Money that he wanted to end.
Oh.
He's not talking about Lonesome Road.
The only again, there's good and bad in all these DLCs. They're not perfect, but when I talk about the DLC which is the best, which is Old World Blues, you got to really pull out your arguments there, because everything about that was beautiful. I loved everything of the level design.
Well, he said he liked Old World Blues.
I know, but I didn't talk about it.
He's going to argue against it.
I keep saying that is my favorite DLC of any game. Like, it is that good. And the voice acting, the story, it's kind of like if you take the fun aspect of what BioWare did with Citadel DLC for the fans, put some lore in there to explain why it exists, put some gameplay, throw in all that pulpy sci-fi crap to coincide with the McCarthyism of the era. Like, all this stuff just gelled so well together. I was so impressed with the comedy.
And it was well acted. By most of the cast of the Venture Brothers,
who were just a bunch of objects in the room. They weren't even people. It was fantastic. Yeah. Even the brains in a jar. Well, yeah, okay, they had character too. I would argue, but to do that with non-human faces, I think, is brilliant. Anyway.
I mentioned this before, but it's actually kind of been a while. I think that Fallout 3 is the better Fallout game, because it feels like a Fallout game. The world feels like Fallout.
That doesn't mean anything.
It feels okay. What
is it? What is it?
Like, this is something EFAP will say when people say that whatever they'll be talking about, they'll say it feels like a Star Wars movie.
You see,
this is something that they'll say. That is not a statement that means anything.
okay, well,
it feels like a Fallout game. What does that mean?
All right, so
what do you mean it feels like a Fallout game?
They are getting an actual emotion from watching a thing they associate with the name. So Star Wars. They'll say Star Wars Episode 4 feels like a Star Wars because I feel like I understand the character, I understand what they're going through, I understand the plot, yada, yada, yada. You could talk about John Williams.
Maybe the world, too.
You could talk about anything. Whatever emotion you get from a thing. What I do is say, okay, can you describe what that thing, that ethereal feeling is? And they'll say, oh, it's when this scene happens. I hear the crescendo of the strings and this happens. Okay, fine. So we can actually identify what they're trying to say. We just have to ask them proper questions. And it all comes down to a criteria for what a Star Wars movie is to them. So we just have to find that criteria. And he has his criteria. He hasn't articulated it yet. And I bet we can...
That's kind of the problem, yeah.
Well... Obviously, he's just saying,
cut him off, so he may articulate it if we unpause. But
yeah, but look how far we've gotten into the video. He just says, "I like this, I like that, and I like what it's doing." So what does that mean ultimately?
We all know, whether we're aware of it or not, what makes a Fallout game because we've played them. We know them. We say, "Oh yeah, this is what you do. You press this. This goes over there. You walk across the room. You open a thing. You hack the chest. Whatever the case may be." But there's this series of mechanics, this series of elements that are the same in each game, even if it goes to 3D. That's why I always go back to Fallout 2, because the world's the same. Well, actually, no, the world's a little different in Fallout 2 because it's more adult. It's more grit. There's more dirt there. Whereas Fallout 3, believe it or not, and 4, and even New Vegas, is not as dirty. It's a little more clean. I don't mean visually. I mean the feeling, the vibe, the tone. It's not as like it doesn't go depressing. There's no life here. There was no chance of life. There's hope in those games. Believe it or not, it feels more hopeful.
And 3
in New Vegas, yes, for sure. New Vegas for sure. New Vegas is a wild ride. 4 is it doesn't really have that. It's kind of a where is my son? I hope he's out there kind of vibe. It's not a strong feeling though. Whereas Vegas is like, I'm on a mission. I'm going to kill that son of a gun. And then things change. And your brain starts going, whoa, which direction do I go? So there is an actual emotional reaction you get to a plot that you have to figure out. And I think that's what he's getting at. But the criteria itself is pretty objective. So it has nothing to do with emotion. And you can identify what makes a Fallout game. The exploration elements, the mechanics, the perks, the unique Nuka-Cola branding, and all those other paraphernalia lore of the environment that we've grown accustomed to. So
then he's saying it's the best out of all of the Fallouts. Like, what does it do that's the best? The story, the gameplay?
Feels like a Fallout game.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
It just feels like a Fallout game. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very generic.
I don't think we can figure it out because it's like, I guess this is the most generic, subjective take. It's like, well, it feels like it. And it's like, what do you mean?
Maybe this is another thing with Fallout people identify with is the idea of being the lone wanderer from the previous games and having dog meat or your dog with you, and you see that silhouette in the background of them walking into the sunset. That is, to me, an icon of the game, but it's no longer relevant. It's sort of like what I thought of a Fallout game, but not anymore, because Fallout has become all kinds of different things now. So I want to know what image and what symbol he's trying to hone in on, and what feeling from that. Once we have an idea, then we can
maybe 3 Dog.
3 Dog, that's a great example. Yeah, the 3 Dog was a great element of Fallout 3. I love 3 Dog.
I did too, yeah.
Fallout New Vegas was great too, just different. Yeah, no, all the radio chatter.
Who was the radio guy for that one? I forget.
That was that singer. What's his name?
Wayne Newton.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Wayne Newton.
AKA
yes.
Mr. Las Vegas.
New Vegas.
New Vegas, yeah.
Well, he is in real life. He is Mr. Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It did work
No,
out
I liked them too.
very well. I thought it was a great selection to get him. Anyway.
Vegas is just a game because it's a better RPG experience with the variants and weapons and mods.
No, it is absolutely not a better RPG experience. It is not a role-playing game.
The variants of mods. I want to know, is there a list of mods we can compare to? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I guess, yeah.
Wait, the variants of mods? He said the variants of weapons. Like, does he mean like what? I think, what the heck does he mean? The variants of weapons?
Wait. Let's rewind that.
With the variants and weapons and mods for the weapons and.
Okay, so weapons and mods.
Okay, there are literally more mods in New Vegas than there are in Fallout 3.
Let me just go through the list.
There's no two ways about this. There are more mods in Fallout New Vegas than there are in Fallout 3.
Let me just list the weapon mods. Not the.
Are there even modded weapons in Fallout 3?
Well, you can customize and build weapons, so I'm assuming that.
Unless we're completely missing this, and he just said New Vegas was the better Fallout or the better RPG experience.
I'm on the mod list for New Vegas. While in Fallout 3, this was limited to the creation of custom weapons, New Vegas takes this a step further by allowing the creation of weapon variants based on basic weapons by adding weapon mods. So, yeah, there's automatically more weapon mods in New Vegas. So, sir. Unless he's talking about the custom mods that you could download.
No, he said modifications for weapons, in which case it's still New Vegas because there's a bigger mod database for New Vegas than 3 because people like New Vegas better than 3.
What's the popular mod in 3? Oh, you skipped the tutorial session.
What's the most popular mod in New Vegas? Probably the anti-crash mod.
The only upgrades seen in Fallout 3 are scopes, the occasional use of silencers, and the use of extended magazines. Other differences between unique weapons do not technically count as weapon mods, seeing as there is only one of each unique weapon. So, no. Oh, dear. I hope he's talking about fan-made custom mods.
He's still wrong.
Yeah.
I hope we're getting this backwards, and he said New Vegas was a better RPG experience.
No, he didn't.
All right.
This is not a subjective take anymore. When you say there are more weapons and more mods for weapons in Fallout 3 than Fallout New Vegas, you are making an objectively incorrect statement. There's no two ways about this. You are wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a simple Google search. Go on the Nexus. Go to the wiki. List all the mods.
Maybe he should have done that before making this video.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what can you modify in Fallout 3. I just remember making guns, not modding them. So, weird.
The way you can up in the perks and the factions and all that shit. I think with the variants and weapons and mods for the weapons and the way you can level up in the perks and the factions and all that shit. I think it's a better game, but I think Fallout 3 was the better Fallout game.
Oh, okay, we were wrong. Because he was saying New Vegas was a better RPG experience.
Wait, let me just...
Oh, okay, that's good.
Did he just talk so quickly we missed? Let me try that again.
Yeah, he said New Vegas, so I guess we skipped over, he was saying, or we talked over him saying Fallout 3 was the better, or Fallout New Vegas was the better RPG, but Fallout 3 was the better Fallout game.
Oh, God.
I mean...
Which is the TLJ, well, it's not great for a Star Wars movie, but it's a good movie. Which it's not, by the way. It's a bad movie. It's not a well put together movie.
All right, let's try this one more time.
It feels like Fallout, and I think that Fallout New Vegas is just a better game because it's a better RPG experience with the variants and weapons. And
so he's saying New Vegas is a better game. Okay, good.
New Vegas is the better game, but Fallout 3 is the better Fallout game.
Oh, good lord.
I
I
can't.
no.
What is the line of
No.
logic? I don't understand anymore.
Let's keep going. I think we exhausted that line of inquiry.
Mods for the weapons and the way you can level up and the perks and the factions and all that shit. I think it's a better game, but I think Fallout 3 was the better Fallout game.
How?
Because in all honesty, when you walk around the Fallout New Vegas map, like it doesn't really feel post-apocalyptic because you're not.
How does it? Okay. All right.
Fallout New Vegas is a better game, but I feel like Fallout 3 is the better game.
Okay, and he's saying it doesn't feel post-apocalypse, which, yeah, that's a fairly common one, is people saying that New Vegas doesn't feel like the post-apocalypse the way Fallout 3 does, except it's not supposed to. It's supposed to feel like the post-post-apocalypse, which is the point.
Well, what does it even
Fallout
look like?
3,
You know?
Fallout 3 feeling like the post-apocalypse doesn't make any sense because it's been hundreds of years since the apocalypse. 150 or 200 years or however long it's been, that is a really long time.
Hey, Mark, how's it going? Glad to see you, buddy.
Hey, I'm just here to tell you that this is a piece of shit video and it's just a waste of time. But I guess I'm too late to tell you that. Like, I think I've watched like 5 minutes of this video and I was like, oh, so he doesn't hate Fallout New Vegas itself. He just hates the community behind it that praises the game ad nauseum. Or did he have any other points?
Not so much. No, he's trying to.
He said New Vegas was a better game, but then he said 3 is a better game, though.
No, he said
He
3
never
is a
mentioned
better
1 and 2.
Fallout game.
I know. 1
He
and
never
2.
mentioned 1 and 2.
I don't know.
I'm surprised these guys have never. Okay, to get an emulator to play 1 and 2 is a little difficult. I admit, but
You don't even need
You
an
don't
emulator.
need an
Windows
emulator.
10.
It's on GOG and
Oh, yeah?
Steam, and it runs just fine on both of those
Okay.
platforms.
I have
You
the,
need like a patch.
Yeah.
That's like 10 kilobytes.
I have the original CD. Okay, so I was like,
Okay.
Oh, I have the EU region CD
oh, okay.
because I ordered what I thought was a CD of the game, and it turned out to be from Europe.
Oh, it's regional?
Wow.
Yeah,
Fuck, man.
and I needed a patch to get it working.
All right.
I just pulled out my Fallout 2 CD, 700 megabyte CDR. Oh wow.
Because I needed a patch to get it working because it was a UK region lock. Like it says 16 plus or whatever the PEGI rating for Fallout 1 and 2 was.
Yeah, a little bit of sex, drugs, and killing kids.
It doesn't even say that. It has pictures of things that represent the content in it.
I think like the
Oh,
master alone
take
is
a
like
picture,
18 R-rated pretty much. Like from Fallout 1.
I like the fact you could sleep with a girl and all of a sudden you're married. You're like, what? Or a guy.
Was that the
Or both.
shotgun wedding?
Yeah.
Or was it
She.
in,
They never leave. They keep chasing you everywhere. It's like, go away.
that was in Fallout 2, right?
Yeah. It's great. Oh boy. It's one way to get an extra partner though, or extra companion, so that's kind of cool.
Except, aren't they like completely useless?
They fight.
How well does that work?
They die very quickly. But if you have a shotgun,
So
they're
they're
okay.
useless?
Well, no, it's good to have that extra turn where you're not getting shot, so someone else is getting shot. It's great.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, great game.
Really in a city, a fucking desert area. Of course, there's some destroyed buildings and towns.
Why
and
should
things
you
like
be in
that,
a city?
But it doesn't really feel like you're in a post-apocalyptic scenario. It just feels like a bunch of destroyed places. And to me, personally,
What? What does that mean?
What?
It doesn't feel like the post-apocalypse. It just feels
It
like
just
a bunch
feels like
of
a
destroyed
bunch of-
cities.
A bunch of destroyed places after a nuclear war.
I saw a post-apocalypse.
Some
Okay.
kind of apocalyptic scenario that destroyed the area, and this is what happens after that, or I guess you could say post those events, those apocalyptic events. What?
Oh boy, this is not
Why
good.
do you need to be in a city for it to feel like a Fallout game?
Well,
What
the thing
city were you in Fallout 1 and 2?
there were actual cities in New Vegas, so I don't know what the hell why that's.
What city
Yeah, it's
were
like-
you in? Yes, you could go to the ruins of Los Angeles, but you didn't spend the whole game in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Well, even
It's like most of the cities got destroyed or something.
well, yeah, but even in Fallout 2, you go to the New California Republic, and it's
And the hub.
the hub. Yeah, all
and-
those crazy places. Yeah, it's like, do those feel like post-apocalyptic because they have rebuilt cities or villages? Like, what's the
Yeah,
criteria?
he's trying to compare small towns to big towns or to big cities. I mean,
That's like another thing that I never
Speaking of
liked
big
about Fallout
town, that's
3.
another settlement that makes no sense in Fallout 3.
Yes, like they in Fallout 2, you can clearly see that civilization is rebuilding, and like you can
Big
barely
town?
see any
Is
of
that
that in
the-
Fallout 3.
is that the one with the kids or whatever?
Yeah.
It's just
Where they
Oh,
send
yeah,
the kids from Little Lamplight once they turn
Oh.
16.
oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, that was pretty memorable. Yeah.
That was stupid. I couldn't kill any of those kids.
Well, that's not the problem. The fact that they had like a
It's a problem for me.
You
Just
can
joking.
get your revenge by killing McCready later.
that's true. Yeah.
They got a mod now, right?
Oh, I don't
God,
mean
I
that.
wish I was
mean
on
in
PC.
Fallout 4.
He's in Fallout 4?
Yeah. He's a companion in Fallout 4. Or you can kill him.
Where?
Uh,
Where is he?
In the place that what's her face comes from. What's it called? Damn it.
He's in Good Neighbor, isn't he?
Yes. I was gonna.
Are you talking about Piper or
No. Piper's from.
No, McCready.
no?
No,
what's the city? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's Good Neighbor.
He's
I
down. He's in the
think-
basement of the bar. No, not the bar.
Yeah, where Magnolia is.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
The lounge singer played by Wonder Woman.
All right.
I'm not kidding. She's a lounge singer, and she's played by Linda Carter, who played Wonder Woman.
Isn't that amazing? Once you find that, it's like, wow, I love her character. She's great. Voice is amazing.
You can sleep with her, right?
Yes. Except
Oh, that's
she's
great.
your son.
Oh boy.
I mean it,
Okay.
because she's a synth. She's a third generation synth who are all based off of Sean's DNA.
Yay.
She's
Yay,
your
incest.
son.
Anyway.
Why is she a synth? I don't know.
See?
Fallout 4's plot makes no sense.
They could have done so much with those setups. It was like a Westworld waiting to happen, and they never did anything with it. Nothing.
Why are they making gorillas?
What?
What's their,
Resurrect
what's their
Harambe.
end game for replacing random people with synths? What do they do with the people that they turn into synths?
Look, don't question it, okay? It just feels like a Fallout game, whatever that means.
Well, he hasn't talked about Fallout 4.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fine.
he hasn't, has he?
That's
you know who
fine.
we should ask about it? Emil Pagliarulo. He wouldn't have an answer for us because he's a hack, but we could ask him about it.
I want you to ask him. That'd be great.
I go to like I don't even know. Do they have some kind of does Bethesda have its own convention? I don't know.
I
But
think
I'm gonna
on
go
E3
there and I'm
they
gonna do a
just-
meet and greet with Emil Pagliarulo and be like, Mr. Pagliarulo, I just need to ask you something. Why?
Just why? That's
Mr.
great.
Pagliarulo? Why do any of your characters do anything that they do?
It just works.
It just works, yeah.
No, that's Todd Howard.
10 times the detail in storytelling.
That's 16 times the detail, not 10, 16.
That's Todd Howard. Todd Howard is a different kettle of fish.
Our paragraphs are very thick. We have wider margins.
It's Todd Howard's synth. It's based on Todd Howard's DNA.
It's not how you start, but where you end up. That's the real answer to everything.
All right. We're 6 minutes in. We're almost done. 2 minutes left. I don't think he has anything more to say. Well, relevant, at least.
Personally, the Decent area of Fallout 3 is better than like any location in Fallout New Vegas. I love the in and out of the subway tunnels, all being able to walk down the streets and look at all the
tunnels.
Even Big Mountain
buildings and go in some way.
Tunnels are the worst part of Fallout 3.
He likes the subway tunnels compared to anything in New Vegas. All right. Fine.
I like me on the grind.
He likes cookie cutter subway tunnels instead of any of the environments of New Vegas.
You know how many times I got lost in the subway tunnels? I mean, granted, I was playing when I was like a kid, but it was so confusing which direction I was supposed to go.
Because I also got lost in the subway tunnels because they are copy pasted.
Versus New Vegas,
it's my favorite. Like exploring metro tunnels full of feral ghouls is so great.
No clip through it.
I don't know. That's fine. Whatever. Like tunnels, what you like, I guess.
I guess so. But the subway tunnels just have no personality. They're just tunnels. They're copy pasted subway tunnels full of feral ghouls
and mutants and weird raiders.
They're like the outskirts of the New Vegas map where you run into nothing but ants and rad scorpions. Except those are the outskirts. You don't have to go there.
Yeah, it's because it's how's New Vegas constructed? Like there's a road to everything, right?
Yeah, the road literally leads to Vegas. All roads lead to Vegas.
Yeah, and then there's a road that's cut off.
Wow, it's like all the roads lead to New Vegas? That's so weird. You mean like how all roads led to Rome and how Caesar wants to make New Vegas his new Rome? Wow. Do you mean to tell me that they put some thought into their game world? Can you imagine that? They put some thought into why things are the way they are in their game world? And it wasn't just because Emil Pagliarulo thought it looked cool. Remember attention to detail?
Yeah, like the designer,
do you
the director of Vegas even went through the Nevada with the bike to just like know his shit. Like where
do you
everything
remember
is.
having attention to detail? Do you remember world building?
Oh boy.
Do you guys remember that?
I remember that.
To do that?
But Sir Axelot, do you blow up a town with a nuke? Can you do that?
Yes.
You actually no, but you can blow up food sources with a nuke and a road.
It's not as compelling as a nuke.
Oh wait, no, you did blow up a town with a nuke in the backstory.
Yes.
Here's Great Scott. Thanks again for the one. Oh yeah, the games where nothing progresses, no one rebuilds or reforms different societies and civilizations, where Mama Murphy can't be bothered to clean up that dead dude and all the skeletons in the corner is clearly the true Fallout.
Yeah, that like I've said that before, and I think it's a talking point I took from was it Colin Moriarty or was it Seamus Young? I can't remember which one of them made the Bethesda Never Understood Fallout video. But yeah, people haven't cleaned up the dead bodies in their homes in 200 years.
Maybe it's Halloween decorations.
Yeah. The skeletons in the corner, yeah.
I mean, like, it's a standard thing to have, like, dead corpses in, like, Eastern Europe. But, like, I don't know about US. I've never been there myself.
Well, Mama Murphy is one of those weirdos. Like, do we have to listen to this crazy bitch? Like, what does she want? Does anything even happen that she's saying? Like, she has the gift of foresight or what have you? Does it mean anything?
I just fell asleep. It's the best way to kill your insomnia.
They always have some sort of prognosticator or some sort of character that does stuff like that. Mama Murphy's, I think, not central to the plot, but she is in the start, I think. I can't remember where
At least, like, the kid with the weird helmet on in New Vegas was missable, and his prophecies were extremely vague.
Yeah. That was funny. Oh, boy.
Wait, what kid? I don't remember.
The where you find Veronica?
He's at the 188 trading post.
Yeah, he's at the bottom of the bridge.
Yeah,
but it's stuff like that which I think is cool. Like in Fallout 2, you'll find that not the chop shop, but it was like this diner at the end of whatever, Edge of Forever. I think it was named after a Star Trek episode or something. Like you just wind up there just randomly on the map. It'll just pop in. Like what is this about? And you'll just have some weird stuff happen. The same with the bridge from the spoof on Monty Python. All these little things. It's like Easter eggs that just happen all the time you play. They're
when the knights just come together. Was it that? Was there another reference to Monty Python?
There were a few, yeah, but I always remember the bridge because I always kill the guy and take his robe. It's really good armor.
Mm-hmm.
So
the one thing that happened to me in Fallout 1 was the police box from Doctor Who. Like all of a sudden, like I was in the desert, and I just found it, and then it disappeared.
Yeah. There was the whale from what's that?
Hitchhiker's Guide
Hitchhiker's
to
Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, he's a dead body of a whale in the middle of frickin'
whale
nowhere.
and the bowl of petunias.
It's like, how did this get here? So they're obviously having so much fun, and the comedy there was just rolling, and they got away with it, and we love it. That's the kind of stuff that if you're a geek or if you know these references, like, hey, wow, it's kind of clever. They had it in there. Anyway, here's
They
James.
even had a New Vegas too, didn't they? You have that Wild Wasteland perk.
Yes. Well, it's not like as good as like the ones from Fallout 1 and 2, but yeah, you can get some like weird results.
They do reference movies and other things. I just don't know them all because they're more popular, so I can't say exactly where they're from. But
Oh, it's funny. She did show the Indiana Jones reference.
yes, the fridge.
Well, it's right next to Good Spring, so
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Anyway, James Moore, thank you for the 10. Smud, kick my Discord account with the same name. And PFP as this from your server. Scammer is in control of it now, using a new one. Thanks. Also, video's bad. He has no idea what he's talking about. There's someone on this server who's in charge of your account? All right. I will fix that for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, James Moore, I will fix that. Guys, if any of the mods are watching, please help James Moore out. I'll go message the mods just to tell them that.
I'm just curious how that happened.
People
Just hackers, I guess.
Why you don't give out your password to weird people, kids?
Yeah.
don't super check your password.
Okay.
Anyway, let's watch.
And obviously, just that location of Fallout 3 and Rivet City too. Rivet City is one of my favorite locations in all of Fallout.
I don't
And look,
care.
I'm not trying
It
to
makes
shit
no
on Fallout New
sense.
Vegas. Again, it is my favorite of the series so far in terms of just overall how the game is. But I just want to point out some of the flaws with Fallout New Vegas, at least that I see in it. Because I'm sick of like seeing people with shit all over Fallout 3. Like Fallout 3 is OG. Like that's the one you have to like that.
It's
one,
not
or you
OG.
can't like
No, I don't.
What?
You
I
have
mean,
to
I do
like
like
that,
it,
it's
but you don't
OG.
have to like it.
How is it OG?
I mean, it's
I
less
don't know.
OG than Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Do we have to like Brotherhood of Steel?
Yes.
Yeah, you could argue because it's isometric, Brotherhood of Steel is more OG than.
Or
Fallout
just
3.
because like Fallout 3 was the first 3D Fallout now.
Yeah, but that's
No.
not. That's not.
It's literally just Morrowind's engine, but with like
But so
modifications.
what? Does it mean it's good?
That's like saying Super Mario 64 is the OG. It's like, no, there's.
Yes, we must stop. We cannot appreciate any 3D games. We can't go any further.
Oh yeah.
You can't You can't enjoy Mario Odyssey anymore.
Odyssey, yeah, Odyssey's amazing, but all the 3D games.
Sunshine.
You can't say Mario Galaxy is better than Mario 64 because without Mario 64, we wouldn't have had Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a poor argument.
Oh, in this video, a poor argument? You're kidding.
Here is Fireheart for the 2. Do you think it would be fun to play as a psyker? In Fallout? There's no psychers in Fallout. Are you talking about Warhammer? I don't know. What's going on here?
Sure, why not? There's a mod for that.
There's a mod. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of crazy mods, but I don't know what the hell he's. That's the point. I guess, yeah, you could play as an alien. You could play as a dragon if you want. There's all kinds of stupid mods. Usually there's just body mods. You have people with big heads and big boobs. That's about it. There's really good...
Big boobs, you say?
Oh, there's all kinds of great companion mods. They make entirely new companions and their own stories.
Yeah, like my favorite is Vin Diesel, companion for New Vegas.
What did you just say, Vin Diesel?
Yes! I can't remember the movie where he's based from, but it's just fucking Vin Diesel.
Oh, okay. So it's not Dom from Fast and Furious, alright.
No, not that one.
Oh, man.
The Chronicles of Fallout. Okay.
Yeah, Riddick.
Oh, Riddick, yeah, okay.
Well, I've seen Mass Effect characters in all kinds of games, so it's kind of funny to see. Oh, there's Miranda and Jack and XCOM 2.
I don't know. The best mod on the Mod Nexus is still the Skyrim mod that turns all the dragons into trains from Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, Bethesda was so proud of that mod that they put in the advertisement for the short-lived system that they had for buying mods for their games.
Let's not get into that. Oh, God.
So how many days was that? Like 3 days or 4 days? And then they reverted all back to where it was.
What a hit.
No one can make mods anymore, only approved mods. It's like, whoa. Excuse me? Yeah, not a good idea.
They did that for 76 too, right?
It was part of the release, I think. They created that stupid, not a marketplace, but it was like what the hell do they call it? It was a community.
Talking about the Fallout first shit.
I don't know what it was called, but it was just a whole group of crap, and it was like, oh, we're going to control the mods, only the best mods, all this other bullshit. And you're like, why don't you just let it go? Why don't you let it?
Oh, the mod workshop.
The workshop. There you go. Yeah. Why don't you just let the people who actually do the thing keep doing it? Like, that is the beauty of your games. Without the mods, Fallout and Skyrim and all the other crap would not be as big as it is. So, man, what a silly thing to say. I don't mind having proprietary mods. That's cool, but don't screw over the guys who actually do that for fun or for passion projects. That's ridiculous. Here's Great Scott. Switching over to Super Chat, I see. Thank you for 2. Psychers are in Fallout. They're in 1 and 188 Kid. Really?
Yes. Oh, I think Psychos were in the Masters vault at the very end of Fallout 1.
I'm trying to remember. They were in 2 as well?
I can't remember in 2.
I love Fallout 2. I don't remember that. Apparently they were.
After the Master gained psychic powers, he subsequently wished to give such abilities to his followers. A series of experimental led to many failures, but 4 successes or individuals of use to the Master are known as Psychos.
Okay. Because in Fallout 2, the story of the Master is not really there. Like obviously they talk about the FEV virus and the super mutants, but other than that, there's really no mention about the...
And then somehow the FEV made it all the way across the United States.
Yeah, that's always... Every Fallout game has to have that crap.
Just like
I mean,
Brotherhood of Steel walked 33,000 miles.
Oh boy, yeah, we gotta have the Brother of Steel and everything, guys. They're cool. They have bases in the ground. They're awesome.
It's the iconography.
Gotta have guys in power armor. Just always. Yeah. Well, I totally forgot what this guy was saying, but we're just having a more fun conversation talking about the lore. It's so much more interesting.
Well, it's another one of those videos where, like, it's more about the discussion it drives than the actual thing itself, because it's such a nothing video. It's here's my opinions.
I really love Fallout 3. Everything else sucks.
He admits that the New Vegas is the better game, but 3 is the better.
But it doesn't feel like a Fallout game.
I don't know. It's like this is a better car in every way. It just doesn't feel like a Ferrari. It's like, what are you talking about? If it's faster than a Ferrari.
Oh yeah, like let's get like some of the people who made the original Fallout games and like, it doesn't feel like a Fallout game anymore.
Yeah, Josh Sawyer.
Yeah, it's like if
Chris
it's
Avellone.
like it's like using that Ferrari analogy. It's like if Enzo Ferrari made a car, but he couldn't call it a Ferrari because he made it independently, and you compared it to a named Ferrari made by a bunch of people who only have the barest knowledge of how cars work.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this one feels more like a Ferrari.
That's the great story about Ferrari. When some guys wanted to make a car, they wanted the Ferrari brand. It's like, hey, we'll give you the rights to make this engine, whatever. It's like, no, it's not Ferrari. So they went on to become a Lamborghini and do their own thing. So, what the money they could have made. So, all because Ferrari was like, no, this is not Ferrari enough. It's just, you're doing it wrong. It's like, okay. People want it. Rich people with lots of money. Like, no, we don't want it. Okay.
All right,
About the art.
We got a minute and a half. Let's get through this.
Let's go.
Like,
No,
no,
let's talk
not
about
for Fallout 3.
Ferrari.
These other ones would not goddamn exist.
Okay,
And none
I
of
don't
the
care.
Fallout games are perfect. Fallout 3 has its fucking faults. So does New Vegas and so does 4. None of them are perfect, but I just want to point out some of the reasons why I think that Fallout 3 is still a great game. It holds up to this day, I think. Now, if it came out today, if Fallout 3 was a brand new game and it came out today, yeah, I probably wouldn't think it's as good as I do think it is. But again, it's a fucking old-ass game. And for
What?
people to wait
That's a
almost 10
silly
years
argument.
later to really start shitting on Fallout 3 seems a bit ridiculous to me. Like, of course, a game that's that old is going to have its fucking faults and problems.
What?
So let me know in the comments below if you've dealt with this toxic
That's
side of
it?
the Fallout community.
That was it?
So here's the thing. It is always going to take years for negative things to start being talked about, because sometimes it takes critical analysis. Sometimes it takes people looking too much into stuff. Sometimes it takes a while for flaws to come out. Sometimes things that are better need to come out that the old thing gets compared to. And people who look and analyze things critically tend to stick around for longer than people who are like, oh yeah, that was great, and move on to the next thing. So yes, as time goes on, if a thing is bad, you're not going to hear about how bad it is during release hype like you are later in its life cycle. It's not that it now has flaws because it's old and there are other things, or like it didn't suddenly develop those flaws. They were always there. They're just more pronounced because people have started looking more critically and seen things that were better come out.
Yeah, being critical in this regard would require actual analysis of the elements of gameplay and story and whatever to say these are the reasons why something is superior. And it's not hard to do. You just have to list them. It just takes time. And a fan of these games like ourselves, we can do this. It'll take us a while. Give us a few evenings at least.
These are big games too.
Yeah, there's lots to go over. There's lots of plots. There's lots of subplots, characters, gameplay mechanics, all kinds of things. And then there's all the bad stuff, which everyone knows, the crashes, the bugs, the quests that don't end, the all kinds of bad things that we know. And we could put this on a scale. We say, look, at all these things are good and all these things are bad. And we say, okay, Fallout New Vegas, when it came out, we'll give it 73 points. It's a fun game. I really like it, but it's got a lot of problems. You're like, okay, here's this game, Fallout 3, when it came out, had a lot of problems as well, all the same sort of evaluation. But then we'd build up a criteria, and we say, these are the reasons why it works, and these are the reasons why it's bad. Even if, for whatever reason, Fallout 3 is the better Fallout game, is it more fun to play? Is it the game you keep coming back to? And it isn't. What's the lasting appeal of New Vegas? And we always say agency, character choice, player choice, freedom. It is an RPG. When we think of RPGs, we think of these games like Bloodlines, like Planescape. You get to do all the stuff you want to do. So, is it that which makes a Fallout game? I would argue yes. And the setting, the scenarios, the plots, the characters, those are all part of it. It's the same with Star Wars. It's just lightsabers, you got space battles, you got the Force, you got some galactic threat you got to deal with. There's always some space opera melodramatic element to it as well. So these are how we formulate a criteria. We have to go through the details because the details are where we get screwed up. Because everyone can argue something is good or bad, and easily the bad on a detail, the same detail. So I was not expecting much from this guy, but this is like, I like 3 because it to me it is the best. You're like, that's not enough. That doesn't help.
How long was this video? I mean, this was not enough time to
8
talk
minutes.
in detail about everything.
I hate New Vegas because of a guy on my Facebook.
Oh, fuck me. Look at all those.
Like,
Social
comment,
media.
subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Yelp, Foursquare.
Snapchat, I think.
Snapchat, Twitch,
Snapchat.
my OnlyFans.
All right.
Whatever that Russian version of Facebook.
VK.
Yeah.
VK.
Actually, oh no, he just released I still hate Fallout New
Yes, we
Vegas
were talking
video.
about that earlier. That'll have to go on the suggestions for another night because we've been at this for a while, and I need to eat dinner.
All right, guys. Well,
I don't know about the rest of you guys.
You can take her easy. I'm going to go to the stream memes.
Let's do memes, and we'll get to how this guy still doesn't much care for Fallout New Vegas.
Here is a quick study of the body reveals that the thug is still alive and merely pretending to be dead.
Is this New Vegas? Or is this 3?
I don't.
Yes, this is New Vegas.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
Awesome. Here is. Oh, this is great. Truth is, the frogs were gay from the start. Oh, oh boy. Great suit there. Who would win? 2 factions with massive armies and political power, or an angry mailman? Good question. Very good question. That question gets answered in Fallout New Vegas. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're a little bitch, and your brother was too.
You ever seen the video where he where the guy takes a picture of the memorial and he like magically zooms forward?
Oh yeah, I love that. And the best part is that there's like I think a speedrun category where you have to like trigger him.
Yes.
And you have to escape him for the entire game without encountering him.
This is amazing. I saw the video of that. All the things you have to do, because even when you talk, I think he catches up to you.
Yes.
Oh my god. Someone did a playthrough of this, getting through the game, so this guy never catches up to you. It's brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was Nurbit that did that.
Here is the Sierra
Yeah, could
Madre. This is Dead Money. And, well, okay. That's a little clever, but trying to get that Blade Runner connection. All right, what you see versus what she sees. Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face. Almost took you for a raider. I did names Malcolm. What? I did. My name's Malcolm Holmes.
Like Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, dear. All right.
That's a lovely lady. I would love to get her name.
I would not. All right, guys. That was a nice brief video with a small section dedicated to memes. I always
It
like
still took us almost 2 hours.
Well, yeah, I like talking about Fallout, so it's we're going to exaggerate and talk a lot. But we're back to actually no, this was on the poll from 2 days ago, I think. So we still have a poll to go through for tomorrow. But yeah, we're good. We're good for tomorrow, folks. We'll see what's happening. Thank you for all the chats and all the wonderful donations and super chats. Always great. See you guys interacting with us. James, hopefully we'll solve that problem. I just notified the mods. Try joining again. Hopefully they're gone, but we'll find out. And I think that's everything. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Sir X a lot. Thanks for popping in. Always nice to have you.
Yep.
And as always,
Always good to be here.
yeah, Mark and Eric, thanks as always. Have yourself a great evening.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. And keep the suggestions coming, guys.